welcome back, and let's continue from where we stopped the last time. Hopefully, you've been able to arrive at this same destination in terms of your modeling. So the next thing I want to do is start to unwrap these so that we can take them to Photoshop to add textures. So I'm going to break the roof apart, and then the house building also is going to be a separate shell. All right, so to do this, I'm going to change the workspace from general right here at the top. I'll change it from general to UV editing because now we want to start creating textures. So I'll select the building here, and I want to see if I can extract the roof so that when we're applying textures, it will be easy for us to do that. So I'm going to right click and I'll say face. Okay, and I'm going to do this face separately, and then I'll do the other face separately. I'm just going to zoom in to be sure that I've selected everything that has to do with the face. I can see there's still some part of the face yet to be selected, so I'm just going to make sure I select everything. It's always a good practice to look around to be sure you have all your selections sorted. So with that face selected, I'm going to come right here where you have the cut and sew. And my intention now is to create a shell from that selection. So I will say create UV shell. All right. And that shell has been created representing this part of the roof. So I'm going to come here again, select this face and make sure I select something similar from this side. Okay, it looks like it's the same. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'll say create UV shell. So this represents the other side of the roof. So I'm going to keep it here. I just want to be sure that it's the top of the roof that is aligned. So I will go select edge. That's fine. And I'll come here, select the shell, bring it here. Okay, and just to be sure that it's facing the right side up, so I'm just going to click on edge so that this I have to turn. So I'll select that and I want to flip it 180 degrees. So there's this option here under tools that is called rotate. So I want to rotate it on 180 so that the top of this roof is facing the upper part of my grid. All right, so the roof is done. And to make things easy for me, I can actually go and do this. I'll marquee select everything like that. And hopefully I've been able to select all of the faces that represents the building. So with that selected, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll say create UV shell. So that has created a UV shell for me. And I'm going to select, with that shell selected, I'm going to go click on unwrap. I want to unfold it. So I'm going to come here under unfold and I'll say unfold. All right, now you can see because I've unfolded it, it's already looking like the shape of the building. So with this edge selected, I'm going to say stitch together, and we can already see that I have a shell representative of the entire building. I'm going to unfold it a couple of times, and then I'll just rotate it slightly to make sure it's straight. But I'll show you one quick tool you can use. If you right click and hold, you can marquee select everything, and there's this tool here that says straighten UV. All right, you click on it and it makes sure that the UV is straight. So now you can see quickly we have the shell that represents the building. I'm just going to scale it down a little bit because we want to make sure that everything fits into this 0 to 1 space. All right, we want to make sure it doesn't go beyond that space there. All right, so I think we're good to go. I'm just going to make sure everything fits into the 0 to 1 space. So this, I believe, represents the bottom of the building. We're not going to see that anyway, so I'll just keep it there. At this stage, I also want to bring this down. I'm just going to apply one color there. So I'll bring this main building down a little bit. I'll scale it up but make sure it doesn't go beyond that 0 to 1 space. And that represents the roof. I will scale it up a little bit so that it has some prominence. And now I have my building unwrapped. Everything looks good. Okay, so I'm going to select all of these shells by marquee selecting like that, and I will click on this icon here, UV snapshot. I will click on it, and now I want to make sure I'm linked to the right project. So I'm going to go look for building, old building. I will say open, and we have to save it inside the images folder. And I'll say save. I'll call it building and save. Apply and close. Fantastic. I think we are done with our UV editing. So I'm going to go back to general. And once again, I'm just going to delete history. I'll select that, freeze transform and delete history. Same thing here, freeze transform and delete history, and I'll make sure I save. And in the next video, we're going to start applying textures. We'll go into Photoshop and apply some textures and then come back to Maya and see what it looks like. All right, see you in the next video.